Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Flora Salim, and it is my privilege as a Victoria Fellow in 2018 to be your MC this morning for the award ceremony of the Victoria Prize for Science and Innovation and Victoria Fellowships in 2020. Please do join us in Twitter using these hashtags and handles. Welcome again, and thank you for joining us as we virtually celebrate and recognize 2 Victoria Prize for Science and Innovation recipients, 12 Victoria Fellowship recipients, and the Australian French Association for Science and Technology Associate Award recipient in 2020. Firstly, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands on which we are gathering today and pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and the elders from other communities who may be with us. In a few moments, I will hand over to the Honorable Jala Pulford, Minister for Innovation, Medical Research, and the Digital Economy. But before I do, may I warmly welcome all distinguished guests around the Australian science and innovation and research communities, past recipients of the Victoria Prize and Victoria Fellowships, selection panel members and members of the FESCI Connected community, nominators and referees, family members and supporters of this year's recipients, ladies and gentlemen. It is wonderful to have so many of you with us today to virtually celebrate these prestigious awards. This morning, we will begin with the introduction of the Victoria Fellowship recipients in 2020, followed by the announcement of the recipient of the Australian French Association for Science and Technology FS Associate Award, and conclude with the announcement of the Victoria Prize for Science and Innovation recipients in 2020. Obviously, as this is a virtually delivered awards, we are going to do a few things differently. I hope you enjoy our presentation this morning and bear with us in case there's any glitches. So let me now turn my attention to our first presentation. The Honorable Jala Pulford was appointed Minister for Innovation, Medical Research, and Digital Economy, Minister for Employment, and Minister for Small Business in June of this year. Prior to this, Minister Pulford served as the Minister for Roads, Road Safety and the TAC, and Minister for Fishing and Boating. As part of the Andrews government's first term, she was Victoria's first female Minister for Agriculture and Minister for Regional Development. Minister Pulford is committed to making sure that Victoria maintains its world-class reputation as a leader in innovation and medical research.
I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of country here, the Wathaurong people, but to pay my respects to all elders past, present and emerging of country wherever you may be. To Miss Julia Page, the Chief Executive Officer at VESCI, to Victoria Prize for Science and Innovation recipients, Victoria Fellowship recipients, and of course to our panel members and chairs that have helped select Victoria Prize and Fellowship recipients this year. To Professor Rachel Webster, Professor Tiffany Walsh, Professor Callum Drummond, AO, Professor Maria Forsyth, Professor Jamie Rossjohn, Associate Professor Flora Salim, and Dr. Peter Bruckner, OAM. It is an honour to be with you, unfortunately virtually, but still great to be with you, for the announcement of the 2020 Victoria Prize for Science and Innovation and the Victoria Fellowship Awards. Today isn't only a celebration of success, it's an acknowledgement of the exceptional talent in Victoria. The Victorian Government is so proud to have supported VESCI and Victoria's most recognised awards for science and innovation since 1998. The Victoria Prize recognises exceptional professional achievement, supporting the best and brightest to continue their important work, forging new frontiers and developing the innovative technologies and treatments of the future. By encouraging our emerging scientific leaders to take their skill and interest to the next level, the Victoria Fellowship Program has helped Victoria to become a global leader in research and innovation. Innovation enables us to fundamentally improve the lives of people here in our own communities, but of people around the world. And it also plays a key role in driving economic growth and job creation, a role that has intensified somewhat in recent times. And the COVID pandemic has shown the world the vital importance of having a strong local research and innovation ecosystem, and the importance of supporting our scientists and trusting our scientists. The Victorian Government remains firmly committed to supporting Victorian research and innovation. We've renewed our support for the Centre for Commercialisation of Regenerative Medicine to ensure emerging therapeutics from local research will continue to be commercialised into clinical treatments. Biobanking Victoria will soon open its doors at Monash Uni, expanding research and industry access to biological materials and increasing Victoria's ability to host clinical trials. And the synchrotron, of course, is a Victorian government legacy to the nation, significantly boosting local and national research capability. More recently, we've supported the foundation of the Australian Graphene Industry Association that will assist businesses interested in pursuing this super material in their products. And you may have seen our recent announcement in support of establishing an Australian Institute for Infectious Disease. To be located in Parkville, the Institute will give our researchers the facilities they need, and it'll foster a new era of collaboration and discovery. And of course, VESCI is such an essential part of our innovation ecosystem, with programs including a wide range of fellowships across agriculture, health, physical sciences and technology and innovation, and of course the Inspiring Women STEM program. So my thanks to VESCI for their ongoing promotion of scientific talent and innovative endeavours in Victoria. My thanks also to the Australian French Association for Science and Technology for its ongoing commitment to the Victoria Fellowship Program. And finally, and without any doubt, most importantly of all, congratulations to the exceptional scientists that we are honouring here today, the recipients of the 2020 Victoria Prize Science and Innovation, AFAS Associate Award, and the 12 2020 Victoria Fellows. Thank you for calling Victoria home, and I wish you all the very best in your future endeavours.
Thank you, Minister, for your kind and inspirational words. It is great to learn about the ongoing and new investments in science and medical research from the Victorian Government, and highlights the importance of VESCI across the innovation community. As I mentioned, this year, the Victoria Fellowships will be awarded to 12 recipients, 6 each in the field of life and physical sciences. The fellowships recognize the important role of innovation to Victoria's economic future and the need for Victorians to be skilled in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. These fellowships allows researchers from a wide range of universities and research organizations to travel to regions, including the US, UK, Asia, and Europe. Each fellow receives a travel grant of up to $18,000 to undertake a short-term overseas study mission to assist in developing a commercial idea, undertaking specialist training, or career development not available in Australia. The recipients join an impressive group of Victorian researchers who embody this robust science and innovation community, and I am also honored to be a part of this very special group. I'm very grateful for the wonderful opportunity my Victoria Fellowship in 2018 gave me, and so to share the announcement of this year's fellows is very special. Thanks to my Victoria Fellowship, I got the opportunity to learn from the top academics in my field during my visit to Cambridge Computer Science Department and Kassel University in Germany during my 7-month research stay in Europe. I also had a chance to introduce my research on understanding human behaviors with multimodal sensing data for personalized AI assistant in many talks, including a department seminar in Cambridge, many lectures in several research industry centers across Germany, Belgium, and Spain. And I gave 2 keynotes at an international conference and an industry symposium. Then the new collaborations that are fostered from the fellowship has led to new research ideas. Some are now published, some are still under review, and a few ideas actually led to grant proposal submission. So this fellowship also led to my Humboldt Fellowship, which I obtained in 2019, the following year after I obtained my Victoria Fellowship. Further, during my stay in Germany, I was also awarded Humboldt Bayer Fellow by the Bayer Foundation. So one thing I can tell you is that the success through the Victoria Fellowship is an amazing start to bigger and better things ahead of you. So now, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to the 6 Victoria Fellowship recipients in the life sciences.
Hello, I'm Dr. Jody Gertz at my research apiary in Bendigo. I'm from Bee Scientifics and excited to receive this Victoria Fellowship to collaborate with the Arista Bee Foundation and Bijou Seeds in the Netherlands and the National French Institute of Agriculture and the Environment in Avignon, France. My research project focuses on breeding for pollination efficacy and varroa resistance in commercially viable honeybee stocks. This research aims to protect Australia's pollination security and honeybee industries now and into the future. Now it's over to Miranda.
Hi, I'm Dr. Caitlin Genvy, here in my garden, and I'm from La Trobe University. I'm honoured to receive this Victoria Fellowship to collaborate with Dr. Valentina Busen at the University of Glasgow on my project, Worm-Resistant Sheep, What's the Point? Australian livestock are threatened by worm infections, which we're losing the ability to control. This fellowship offers a way of diagnosing this disease, which is the first step towards improving control. Now it's over to Melbourne.
Hi, I'm Dr. Denver Linklater. I'm here at my home in Manor Lakes. I'm from RMIT University and I'm excited to receive this Victoria Fellowship to collaborate with Professor Boris Chichkov from Linde University in Hanover on my research on next-generation antibacterial biomaterials. This collaboration will help to translate our current research on next-gen implants into marketable products. Now it's over to Glen Iris.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Jennifer Perrott and I'm speaking from my home office. I'm from the University of Melbourne and I'm excited to receive this Victoria Fellowship to collaborate with Professors Deborah Jarvis and Cassetta Manelli from the National Heart Lung Institute of Imperial College London. Through working on my project titled Detecting Chronic Obstructive Lung Disease at an Early Stage in Middle-Aged Adults, I will gain access to European data, new statistical skills and opportunities to network with international experts in this field. Now it's over to Ballarat.
Hello everyone, I am Priscilla Prestes talking to you from my home. I'm from Federation University Australia and I'm very grateful to receive this Victoria Fellowship to collaborate with Professor Maciej Tomaszewski from the University of Manchester on my research on the investigation of circular RNA signatures in the kidney related to blood pressure regulation and hypertension, because it will allow me to gain knowledge in the new area of circular RNAs and establish future collaborations. Thank you for this opportunity, and now it's over to Princess Hill.
Hello, I'm Dr. Julia Walker. I'm currently at home, but I'm from the Department of Chemical Engineering at Monash University. I'm honoured to receive this Victoria Fellowship to collaborate with Professor Heather Clark at Northeastern University in Boston on the development of cellular photoacoustic sensors for the monitoring of cytokines in vivo, because of the network and technical knowledge gained. On behalf of all of the 2020 Victoria Fellows in the Life Sciences category, I would like to thank the Victorian Government and BESCI for these important awards.
I now have the pleasure to introduce you to the 6 Victoria Fellowship recipients in the physical sciences.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Taimur Ahmed in my lab at RMIT University. I'm honored to receive this Victoria Fellowship to collaborate with research groups at MIT and industry partners at SP Labs USA on my Smart Electronics for Neuroscience project. This fellowship will allow me to work with leading research groups and industry partners to develop brain-inspired electronic circuits for the next generation bionics and human-machine interface technologies. Now it is over to another location in Melbourne.
Hi, I'm Andy Bös and I'm at the City campus of RMIT University. I'm thrilled to receive this Victoria Fellowship to collaborate with Professor John Bowers from the University of California, Santa Barbara, to work on precise and compact movement sensors to enable the Industry 4.0 movement. This fellowship will enable me to broaden my network and get a unique insight into the photonic integrated circuit technology. And now it's over to Blackburn South.
Hi, I'm Fatemeh Jalali, talking to you from my home office. I'm a research scientist with IBM Research. I'm very thrilled to receive this Victoria Fellowship to collaborate with brilliant researchers from MIT IBM Lab to work on AI-powered edge computing and green communications. Now it's over to Richmond.
Good morning, I'm Dr. Conrad Roscoe, speaking to you from this park. I'm from the University of Melbourne and truly humbled to receive this Victoria Fellowship to collaborate with Professor Hayley Fowler at Newcastle University in the UK. My project aims to understand changes in extreme rainfalls due to climate change so that we can design infrastructure for the correct level of future flood risk. Now it's over to Hawthorne.
Good morning, I'm Dr. Ali Yavari from Swinburne University of Technology. I'm honored for receiving Victoria Fellowship in Physical Science this year. My research interest is Internet of Things, and I'm looking forward to initiating research collaboration with scientists, particularly in Europe, to improve human and cyber physical systems interactions. Now it's over to Boxit South.
Hi, I'm Maggie Zai from RMIT University. I'm honored to receive this Victoria Fellowship to collaborate with Professor Mazenga at ETH Zurich on my study mission designing nanoparticles for protein and gene delivery. On behalf of all 2020 Victoria Fellows in the physical science category, I would like to thank the Victorian State Government and VESCI for these important awards.
How inspiring to hear the incredible range of research being conducted by this impressive group. And I'm proud to welcome all 12 Victoria Fellowship recipients to our community. If I could share one piece of advice, I would suggest that the Victoria Fellows, when you visit the lab or research groups you plan to go to, immerse yourself in it, learn from them, not just about the research, obviously, but also how they do their research. As you adapt to their research culture, this will further shape and develop you as you situate yourself as an emerging leader in your research community and the role and contribution you make in a global scene. So take time to build connections that will last beyond the fellowship and enjoy the journey. For all our audience and all recipients, further information on the fellowship study missions and prize recipients will be available in the Victoria Prize for Science and Innovation and Victoria Fellowships in 2020 booklet, available from the VESCI website following this morning's event. I look forward to seeing the connections and collaborations the Victoria Fellows establish through their international trips. Congratulations to all once again. Now, before we move on to our next award, we've got a poll for you all to participate in. While we're not meeting face-to-face, we are still keen to know which research project and study mission that were awarded today that you're keen to learn from the most. So I hope some of you have participated in virtual poll before, even through Zoom. So once I give the go-ahead, you'll all see 2 poll questions pop up in screen. So you have to scroll down to see the second question potentially. You will approximately have 30 seconds to submit your response. Okay, we're ready for the polls, please. So you have now met our 6 recipients for the Victoria Fellowship in the Life Sciences and 6 recipients in the Physical Sciences. So for each of these questions, you will have to choose one of the mission that intrigued you the most in the Life Sciences category, as well as the Physical Sciences category. I'll give you a couple seconds. The question is, which one you would like to learn more about? All right, thank you so much. Now we will collate your answers and we will share this with you a little later at the end of the formalities. Our next award is supported by the Victorian chapter of the Australian French Association for Science and Technology, or FS for short. The primary aim of FS is to facilitate scientific and technological cooperation between Australia and France, and the FS Associate Awards do just that. The 4 finalists for the FS Associate Award in 2020 are Dr. Jody Gertz, Dr. Fatima Jalali, Dr. Denver Linklater, and Dr. Ali Afari. Before I announce the FS Associate Award recipient in 2020, I would like to acknowledge and thank Mr. Peter Tolle, Chairman of the Australian French Association for Science and Technology, and the selection panel for their support since 2004 in providing a Victoria Fellow visiting France as part of their study mission, additional funds valued at up to $3,500 in support of their research endeavors, facilitating science and technology innovations to mutually benefit Victoria and France. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it gives me great pleasure to announce that the FS Associate Award in 2020 is awarded to Dr. Jody Gertz from B Scientifics. Congratulations, Jody. Can I please ask you to join me on the main screen?
Hello, thank you. I'd first like to thank Mr. Peter Tolle and the Australian French Association for Science and Technology, the Victorian government and VESCI for this amazing opportunity. I'd also like to thank BJO Seeds and NRA for hosting me on this fellowship. This fellowship will bring pioneering research on varroa resistance and pollination efficacy back to Australia. So this work that we'll do will protect our pollination security and honeybee industries while providing important feedback to scientists in France about their selection techniques. So I hope that this is the beginning of a long and important relationship. Thank you.
Thank you, Jody. Congratulations once again. And so we are almost at the pointy end of the awards ceremony with just 2 more awards to announce. But first, let's take another quick poll.
You're supposed to ask me a question.
So as we look into the future, living safely with COVID-19, beyond to a time when our international borders have reopened, so where is the first place you like to travel to, whether for leisure or for research? So there are a couple of options there on your screen, all the possible continents in the world. Where would you like to travel to? It is a difficult choice, isn't it? All right, so now let's see if we got the results. Wow, 51%, the popular port goes to Europe. So a lot of people like to travel to Europe. Makes sense because you can just hop into the big land and you can just travel all around multiple countries. Well, there's a lot of, the second one is East Asia. So thank you. Now, we have now come to the presentation of the Victoria Prize for Science and Innovation in 2020. Over the past 23 years, this prestigious award has been presented to outstanding Victorian scientists and researchers from a range of disciplines. The Victoria Prize celebrates leadership, determination, and creativity. It also highlights the many ways in which research and development of international significance are conducted in Victoria. The Victoria Prize for Science and Innovation in 2020 is worth $50,000 per prize and will be awarded in both the life and physical sciences to outstanding science leaders. Without further ado, I would like to invite Julia Page to announce the Victoria Prize for Science and Innovation in the Life and Physical Sciences. Julia is VESCI's MD and Chief Executive and has been at the helm for the past 16 years. Over this time, Julia has developed and maintains strong connections with national and international science and innovation communities, which results in delivering multiple VESCI awards and fellowships, including these on behalf of the Victorian government. Julia, would you kindly join me, please, on the main screen? Thank you.
Thanks so very much, Flora. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, may I also acknowledge the traditional owners on the land on which we meet today, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging, and the elders from other communities who may be with us today. It is my great pleasure in my capacity as Vesky's MD and Chief Executive to announce the recipient of the Victoria Prize for Science and Innovation in the Life Sciences as Professor K Crossley of La Trobe University. Let's take a look at Professor Crossley's achievements.
Well, as a sports physiotherapist, I was really lucky to get a position in Olympic Park Sports Medicine Centre, one of the largest multidisciplinary sports medicine clinics in Victoria. My career highlight was definitely getting an appointment as a team physiotherapist to the Sydney Olympic Games. And in my research career, I was given the opportunity to lead and develop the La Trobe Sport and Exercise Medicine Research Centre. Our research is really important for all Victorians, not just those who are playing sport or trying to be physically active and getting injured. The key achievement over the last few years is really recognising that young people actually have osteoarthritis too. Our research is focused on three major areas. The first is a project called Making Football Safe for Women. Our second projects are looking at trying to reduce the burden of sports-related injuries in hips and knees. And our third project is what we call GLAD. So GLAD stands for Good Living with Arthritis from Denmark. It's an evidence-informed program of exercise and education for people with hip and knee osteoarthritis. Over the next 5 to 10 years, we're really trying to look at, again, this group of young people who are at risk of osteoarthritis and trying to work out why they might be at risk of getting osteoarthritis. And then we have a new project that we just started during the COVID restrictions. It's in running athletes, and obviously running in Melbourne was about the only sport you could do. So what we want to achieve with those projects is to be able to provide really good advice on whether people should be staying active and playing these sports, whether they're good for their joints or whether they're not, or whether they need to be changed. Our other focus is on women's health in sport and exercise. We also have a strong focus on promoting and supporting the careers of women in health sciences, sport and exercise sciences, physiotherapy and sports medicine. Collaborations are essential to research. Obviously, this has been difficult during COVID-19 because we can't physically be in the same space, but also because we've had to actually put a lot of our projects on hold. We work with organisations such as the AFL and AFLW and a lot of the sports clubs who are really interested in keeping their players healthy and being able to work to the best of their ability. I'm especially proud to be part of the Victorian research community. Victoria's got a long, sustained record of excellence in research and science achievements, but I'm especially proud to be part of Victoria's amazing health science research community. I want to use this recognition to promote and support other great health scientists, researchers in Victoria. And I also want to use this recognition to reach out to women researchers. We need to see, hear and empower you. I want this Victoria Prize to give me opportunities to raise the profile of women leaders and emerging leaders in research. I'm Professor K Crossley, the Director of the La Trobe Sport and Exercise Medicine Research Centre at La Trobe University. I'm honoured to receive the Victoria Prize for Science and Innovation in 2020 for Life Sciences.
Congratulations, Professor K Crossley of La Trobe University, the recipient of the 2020 Victoria Prize for Science and Innovation in the Life Sciences. Professor Crossley is being recognised for her world-leading research, demonstrating that exercise is a novel, cost-effective strategy which has revolutionised the prevention and management of hip and knee pain and early onset arthritis. The development of high-value exercise-based treatment for hip and knee pain and osteoarthritis have transformed clinical practice for these conditions. Under her leadership, the La Trobe Sport and Exercise Medicine Research Centre is now regarded as one of the leading institutions of its kind in the world. Congratulations, Professor Crossley.
It is now my great pleasure to also announce the recipient of the Victoria Prize for Science and Innovation in the Physical Sciences as Distinguished Professor Shia Imin from RMIT University.
I was born and raised in China. After I completed my PhD degree in the United Kingdom, I came to Australia in 1991. One of my career highlights has been receiving a Laureate Fellowship from the Australian Research Council to support my work in the field of freeform architecture. The Laureate Fellowship has enabled me to establish a world-class research team at RMIT University. The objective of our research is to use the least amount of material to achieve the best structural performance. The new digital tools developed by my team will enable engineers and architects to create novel designs that are structurally efficient, aesthetically pleasing, and conceptually different from existing forms. My team has made outstanding contributions to the original development and subsequent worldwide adoption of the evolutionary structural optimization method. This technique was inspired by naturally occurring structures such as bones, shells, and trees. It was based on the simple concept of gradually removing inefficient material from a structure so that the resulting shape would evolve towards the optimal. My team works closely with research partners in several universities across the state. We have also been collaborating with major companies in Melbourne, including Arup, Oricon, and Boeing. Our collaborations and partnerships extend way beyond Victoria. For example, my colleague Roland Snooks and I have been working with Queensland University of Technology and the Innovative Manufacturing CRC in a multi-million-dollar project on design robotics for mass customization manufacturing. Internationally, we have been collaborating with researchers in Brazil, China, Japan, and the US. This prize is a huge honor, of course. It is also a brilliant reflection of all the hard work and contributions of a large number of my students, postdoctoral fellows, and other collaborators. They wrote the computer codes, did the simulations, built the prototypes, figured out why things didn't work, and ultimately produced compelling results and impressive designs. I am extremely privileged to have the opportunity to work with so many talented young researchers in my team. I am Professor Mike Shia, the Director of Center for Innovative Structures and Materials at RMIT University. I am honored to receive the 2020 Victoria Prize for Science and Innovation in the Physical Sciences.
Congratulations, Distinguished Professor Mike Shia of RMIT University, the recipient of the Victoria Prize for Science and Innovation in the Physical Sciences. Professor Shia has made an outstanding contribution to the original development and subsequent worldwide adoption of technology known as Evolutionary Structural Optimization, ESO, and Biodirections, ESO. ESO-BISO technology has been used by thousands of engineers and architects around the globe to design numerous novel structures, including several landmark buildings. Professor Shia has also extended this technology to the design of novel cellular materials and composites. Such materials are of critical importance to the development of impact-resistant body armours for soldiers and advanced biomedical devices for patients. Congratulations, Professor Shia.
Thank you to the Minister and to Julia. And wow, I'm so blown away by the amazing research works done by Professor Crossley and Professor Shia. My sincere congratulations to you, Professor K Crossley and Professor Mike Shia again on this incredible achievement. Now, under other circumstances, we will invite you up to the lectern to say a few words, but in this virtually delivered ceremony, there's a couple of little wiggle room for us to do things a bit differently. Obviously, these are very extremely prestigious and important awards for you both and for our Australian community. So we have arranged for a few of colleagues to join you, and they're going to put you both a little bit under spotlight so we can find out a little more about your research and also your life. So Vesky has kindly called upon each of your nominators, a member of the Victoria Prize selection panel, and a previous Victoria Prize recipient to pose a question to you. Professor Crossley, perhaps you'd like to go first. Professor Shea, would you please join us back in a couple of minutes? So, are you ready, Professor Crossley?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Great. Can I please invite your nominator, Professor Peter Bruckner, to please pose the first question?
Congratulations, Kay. You've really had two careers. Firstly as a clinical sports physiotherapist, culminating in your appointment to the Australian Olympic team, and then having reached the pinnacle of that career, you sort of started again as a lowly PhD student, starting your academic career. Tell us why. What caused you to make that change?
Thanks, Peter. And when you say it like that, I wonder myself why I made the change. Look, as a physiotherapist, I was really lucky to be able to work with the Victorian and Australian track and field team for about 10 years. And as I said in my video, be able to go to the Olympic Games. And that was a great opportunity for me. I was able to work alongside other professionals, so other physios, doctors, sports trainers, coaches, podiatrists, massage therapists, a whole lot of people. And we all had one goal, and that was to get the athletes, performing at their best when they needed to, and to get the team performing at their best when they needed to. And as part of that team and as part of that experience, we really worked out that what you need to do to be able to achieve your goals is to be able to collaborate and work well in a team, to be really creative, thinking about new and different ways to approach different conditions that you see, but also to question, what are we doing? Why are we doing it? Is this the best way to do it? And what I realised is after a few years of doing this is we can question this all we like, but we had very little science underpinning what we were doing. It was the 90s. There were very few physios with a PhD. There was certainly very, very little research in sports physiotherapy. So I knew that if I wanted to continue to develop myself and answer the questions I wanted to know the answer to, I would have to go back to university. So, I had to be brave, really. I had to leave behind the security of a great job and great experiences and a great team that I worked with, and really gather up all my things and take those things back to university. And you're right there, I did start at the lowest, which is where everybody starts, and I had to do a postgraduate diploma first before I enrolled in my PhD. And then I started on my research journey. So I learnt so much about conducting, developing and doing research, and really being able to bring in all of the experiences from being working in the team environment to my research.
Thank you very much, Professor Bruckner and Professor Crossley. Now we have Professor Tiffany Walsh, Victoria Prize selection panel member in the life sciences, to pose the next question. Thank you, Professor Walsh.
Hi, Kay. Congratulations. I have my question is really about a definition I have for a successful researcher in being a courageous person who has tried and failed a lot of times. For the benefit of all of our early career researchers who are dialing into the ceremony this morning, I'd like to ask, could you comment on this view and perhaps share some experiences along those lines to perhaps inspire our ECRs that it's okay to learn from failure as being a key part of learning how to succeed?
Thank you. And I couldn't agree more. I think if I had to tell you every single failure I've had, there wouldn't be enough time for all of it. I think it's not just about the failures, Tiffany, but I think it's about taking the challenges. And I talked about moving from clinical into research, but I also moved from physiotherapy into a postdoc in mechanical engineering, then moved into teaching, and then moved into a leadership role within a centre. So all of those challenges have made me a better researcher, and I think made me successful. But I think you're right. I think it is the failures that do define us, and I think I can't count the number of grants that I've put in that I've really believed in, and I really think we're going to make a huge difference to the world, only to be disappointed that they're not funded. So I don't have one particular example, but I have many, many, many examples. And I will say to each and every early career researcher and mid-career researcher and senior researcher, we just have to keep going. I think every failure actually makes us better.
Thank you, Professor Crossley. We have now a final question for you today from Victoria Prize recipient in 2016, Professor Jamie Rossjohn. Over to you, Professor Rossjohn.
Firstly, Kay, congratulations. And I must say, myself as a masters athlete who's taken on marathon training the last few years, I might give you a call.
Yes.
The question I wanted to ask, though, was how has your research program benefited from the research environment within Victoria?
Yeah, so I moved to La Trobe 5 years ago from the University of Queensland, and I think we've really benefited not only from being in Victoria, but being in Victoria's north. So we've set up some programs that are really specific to the area of Victoria that we work in. I have a lot of collaborators in Victoria from my time at the University of Melbourne, both in physio and engineering, and I've been able to keep those and make new collaborations. But I think really working with the communities in Victoria has been really important to me, but also to work with some of the industries. So we talked about the AFL as well. So there are a lot of industries in Victoria that have really helped to make our research really valuable. I think it's now time for me to take my opportunity to thank the Honourable Jala Pulford, the Victorian Government and VESCI for this award, which is absolutely amazing, and I feel so excited, proud and privileged to be a recipient. I need to thank my family and friends who don't always understand what I do, but are always a massive support to me. I need to thank my many supervisors and mentors who've helped me on my journey, guided me along the way and taught me what to do and what not to do in the research and research leadership. Everyone at La Trobe University, from every head of school through to the DVC and the VC, have been very supportive of me and the executive to lead this research centre to be the best it can be. And each and every member of our research centre, it is a privilege to be part of the centre. I miss going into work every day and seeing everybody. I'm really proud of your adoption of our culture, and I think that has led to an excellent research environment and outstanding research results. So thank you very much, and I'm very privileged to be part of the team who've also been recipient of the Victoria Prize.
Thank you very much, Professors Bruckner, Walsh and Rossjohn for your questions, and thank you very much for Professor Crossley for so kindly sharing a little bit more about yourself.
Thank you.
Now, Professor Shia, may I please invite you back to the main screen? Can I please welcome your nominator, Professor Callum Drummond, to please pose your first question?
Thank you, Flora, and Mike. Congratulations on this well-deserved recognition. And Mike, you work at the interface between design and engineering, and your techniques have led to the creation of many novel, beautiful architectural structures. I'd like to know what inspired you to work in this cross-disciplinary field.
After I got to RMIT University, I was very fortunate to meet with Professor Mark Barry. He's a leading architect, not just academic. She's also got a lot of experience in practicing. So from there on, I've been working with many architects, and that has made a huge difference. Being able to integrate what I know in engineering and what I can work with the architects.
Thank you very much, Professor Drummond and Professor Shea. We now have Professor Rachel Webster, the Victoria Prize Selection Panel Chair in the Physical Sciences, to pose the next question.
Thank you, Flora. So first of all, Professor Shia, congratulations, a very, very well-deserved prize. So for my question, your innovative design techniques have been used in a very wide range of applications, from buildings through to biomedical applications. Can you tell us about one application that you consider to be particularly innovative?
It's hard to name because when I started this research, I was working in the aeronautical engineering field and hoping to apply the technique in aircrafts, because reducing the weight for the aircraft would make huge difference in saving the fuel. But the surprising thing is And not only we can make the structure efficient, the outcome is so beautiful. So if I want to nominate something as a highlight, it would be the application into large buildings and bridges. And it makes such an innovative form and create something completely different and unexpected.
Thank you, Rachel. Professor Shia, we now have one final question for you today from a Victoria Prize recipient in 2017, Professor Maria Forsyth. Over to you, Professor Forsyth.
Congratulations from me too, Mike, for winning this prestigious prize. I know how humbling this can be to be recognised for something that you love doing. Can you tell me, or tell us, please, what excites you the most about the work that you've been recognised for today? And also, what's the most exciting breakthrough that you've made, and how will it impact us in Victoria?
The most surprising thing I can say is how a very simple rule could create such a very complex and diverse outcomes. As we noted, although our technique is very, very simple, but the field we can apply is so diverse. And in Victoria, we actually work with many companies in Melbourne, such as Aricon and Boeing, and also work with most of the universities in Victoria, including Melbourne, Swinburne, and Monash. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Victoria government, the minister, the selection panel members, and VESCI for giving me such a great honor. And I would like to thank my nominator, Professor Callum Juman, for his encouragement and support over many years, and to thank a large number of my collaborators for their support and contributions, in particular, Professor Grant Stephen and Professor Mark Barry. And I dedicate this amazing prize to my talented and hardworking students, postdocs, and colleagues at RMIT University. And I thank my wife, Claire, for her love and support. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. And for all the interesting questions and answers, Professors Drummond, Webster, and Forsyth, and also Professor Shia. That was a great way to learn a little bit more about you. On behalf of everyone, congratulations once again on your very much deserved recognition. Thank you, everyone. It's been my pleasure to assist in bringing you the news of the Victoria Prize for Science and Innovation and Victoria Fellowships recipients in 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me for a final message from Minister Pulford.
I am truly humbled by the calibre of scientific endeavour and innovation that's being recognised by 2020 Victoria Prize for Science and Innovation and Victoria Fellowship Awards. Again, please accept my heartfelt congratulations on this extraordinary achievement. Thank you also again to VESCI and to all our recognised scientists, support people who help them be so amazing and so special and to have extraordinary careers that change the world. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Minister. What a most fitting note to draw today's awards ceremony to a conclusion on. The recognition of the individuals, family members, partners, team members, peers and mentors who support our early career scientists and leading Victorian innovators, entrepreneurs and researchers. Our sincere thanks to the Honourable Jala Pulford in an extremely busy week for making time to join us virtually. On behalf of everybody who's joined us here today, I would like to congratulate the Victoria Fellowship recipients in 2020. I'll take great delight in following your careers and research outcomes, and I have no doubt that you will make or continue to make a significant contribution to the future of Victoria and Australia more broadly. Now, just before I let everybody go, you will recall that we kindly asked you to participate in a couple of polls where we asked you which study missions most intrigued you. What we didn't share was that the Victoria Fellows whose study missions our audience found the most intriguing today will have the opportunity to share their research study missions in a special interview with none other than Triple R's very own Einstein a-go-go, Dr. Shane, ultimately resulting in a podcast for their interview. It therefore gives me great pleasure to share with you the poll results from today of the two lucky Victoria Fellowship recipients as Jodie Gertz from the Life Sciences and Maggie G from the Physical Sciences. Well done to both of you. In drawing the event to a conclusion, may I extend my congratulations once more to Professor K Crossley and Distinguished Professor Mike Shia, our Victoria Prize for Science and Innovation recipients in 2020. Finally, my thanks to the Victorian Government for their ongoing support of these prestigious awards and the importance of recognising the incredible research endeavours of international significance being conducted right here in Victoria. To our selection panel members who generously give their time freely to review and evaluate all of the applications. And to the Australian French Association for Science and Technology, the Victoria Prize nominators, and all referees who tirelessly support the program, without whom it could not be delivered. Thank you to the panelists who joined us today to make this virtually delivered awards ceremony a little something different. And to our MC Flora Salim, who's done an amazing job holding us all together. And finally, the team of VESCI behind the scenes who brought this webinar together today. A special thank you on behalf of VESCI and the Victorian Government to each of you for joining us on this special occasion over morning tea to help us celebrate the incredible science and innovation occurring across Victoria. Thank you to all of you, and please have a great rest of the day.